It's mailbag time here. Mitchell Renz, Chat Sports, ready to answer all of y'all's questions. As a friendly reminder, this video was filmed on Wednesday, and this offseason's been crazy, so if anything changes, don't yell at me. You can yell at producer Coop because he's probably responsible. So if you guys want, use hashtag NFL, or you can go ahead and super chat to get your questions, your comments here on the show. What up, Dylan Burks? Do you think there's a chance the 49ers can get a top 10 pick for Deebo? Do I think that there's a chance? Sure. It's just what team's going to do it, because the only team that I see giving up a top 10 pick for Deebo is probably the Jets. And I'm not going to give up 4. I would give up 10. If you were to tell me right now, give up 10 for Deebo, and that would be enough, sure, it'd be good for the Jets. If I was the 49ers, I still would want more personally. But if you were to ask me what team is the most likely to give up a top 10 pick, it would be the New York Jets, and I would say at pick number 10. Josh Green, are you related to Marshall? Should the Ravens sign Melvin Ingram? If all your other options for trying to find a solid edge rusher are gone, let's say in the draft, because Baltimore's at pick 14, and maybe there's a guy like David Ojabo that ends up sliding down because of the injury. Let's say you leave the NFL draft and you don't get any good edge rushers. Then sure, Melvin Ingram's a name. Justin Houston's a name to keep in mind. Those guys are veterans, have some 3-4 experience, and I would love for one of my younger players like Adafe Owe to learn from Houston, to learn from Melvin Ingram, to just help better themselves in the long run. 1 year prove-it deal on a good football team? Yeah, sure, why not? As it stands right now, before the NFL draft, who is the best team in the National Football League? It's a good question. Are you going to go with the defending champs, the Rams? What about Tom Brady and the Bucs? Oh, yeah. The AFC is loaded. Could it be the Chiefs, the Bills, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Browns? Like, there are so many teams out there, the Dolphins. I mean, who's the best team in the NFL? If you were to bet money right now on the team that wins the Super Bowl, who would it be? And then remember, I'm going to ask this question in 2 weeks from now after the NFL draft. I want to see if the answers remain the same. Apex 2.0, tell Tom I said hello. Tom, but where do you think the Honey Badger would like to play? Obviously, we'll have to take a pay cut to play for a contender. I wouldn't say he obviously has to take a pay cut, because you got to remember, June 1st is a very important day in the National Football League. A lot of contracts end, essentially, because they're post-June 1st cuts. And I'm just going to go because I know the Raiders number off the top of my head. The Raiders, for example, get $20 million after June 1st. So if you're an NFL team that believes that they can compete, why not go out and try to get the Honey Badger? He's the top safety out there. I'd make the argument he's the top free agent left out there. So I wouldn't say he would take less money. But I really truly think that he just ends up going to the New Orleans Saints. That's my prediction. I've been with that one for a long time, and I'm going to stick with it. Honey Badger to the Saints. Bro Cave, Deebo Samuel, and a third for Jair Alexander and a second. So I don't really think that, I mean, it would make sense for both sides, because then Jair Alexander, he goes over to San Francisco. They need a corner. I think Deebo's worth more, and I get the fact that Jair is a great cornerback, and he's probably one of the best in the league. But Deebo is coming off his best season of his entire career. Alexander had a lot of injuries last season, so I get the player for player because it helps out both sides in terms of need. But I think the 49ers lose this trade, so I'll go ahead and say no. What's up, Vince? Who is the more valuable pick, Stingley or Jameson Williams? It depends on what your biggest need is, right? If you need a corner, it's Stingley. If you need a wide receiver, I'd say it's Jameson Williams. I don't see Derek Stingley falling out of the top 15. There is a draft where I could see Jameson Williams falling out of round 1. I don't think it happens, but I could make that argument more because of the injury. If an NFL team's not 100% sure if Williams is going to be ready for week 1, maybe they decide to go with a player like Jahad Dotson, Treylon Burks, Drake London. Like, the wide receiver market is a lot deeper, so depending on, let's say, if Stingley goes at 15 compared to Jameson Williams going at 25, I'll say the better value is Williams, because if Williams is healthy, it's probably the first receiver taken off the board. So I'm going to go Jameson Williams. Guys, Chat Sports is partnered with Locals, and I'll tell you what, I love this because I've always been a big fan of locals, and I'm a fan of content creators. I know, it's shocking. But Chat Sports over on locals is a really cool opportunity for us, and it's a really cool opportunity for all our viewers to just get in closer contact with some of your favorite content creators. I mean, let's face it. When you do a show, you get people that watch. There's a lot of people that try to ask you questions, or there's people that just want to get to know you a little bit better. Over on locals, you have that ability. Hell, my Raiders show, I talk to people on the daily. They literally make up the content that I do. So if you want to go ahead and check out locals, go to locals.com. You can see content creators like me on my Raiders Report show, whether I'm eating the hottest chip in the world, doing an NFL combine, or telling you the number one player the Raiders should go out and get. If you want to get to know guys like Russell Brand, if you want to get to know Tulsi Gabbard, Dr. Drew, the Rubin Report, some of the top creators over on locals, it's a really cool opportunity, and it's also a really cool platform. So I encourage you to go ahead and check it out, locals.com. Georgie Boy, would you trade A.J. Brown of the Lions for the Lions' number 2 overall pick? So and if I was Detroit, I would say no to this. And a lot of times, an NFL team, when you talk about the top 5 picks, the value of those picks is insanely high. The top 3 picks is insanely high in terms of value. I understand how talented A.J. Brown is. No questions about it. A.J. Brown, though, for the number 2 overall pick, I don't think it's enough. Call me crazy. I don't think it's enough, and if I was Detroit, I would want more. I'll tell you what, guys, if a deal like that ends up going down, we're going to get wild here. You're going to start seeing sirens. You're probably going to see Harrison Graham go, woo, woo, woo. NFL news, rumors, draft analysis all year long. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because you don't want to be that random guy that says something. Let's just say, this is just totally off the top of my head here. This has never happened to me in my entire life. Let's say you're chilling at work with all your work buddies, and you say something, and then you get some random guy in the back that goes, Amari, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't know what's going on in the NFL. You want to know everything that happens around the National Football League because, guess what? I don't know. When I talk to all my friends, that's what we talk about. So to make sure that you know more about the NFL than all your friends, I sure would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Let's go to Caleb. Caleb, what up? With the protection and weapons the Dolphins have given Tua, do you think he could have a breakout year and be the MVP conversation next season? I will say this. I think Tua could be a very, very dark horse MVP candidate, and I'm going to give you these reasons. The offense is legit. If the offensive line can stay healthy, then the offensive line is going to be very good on top of that. If he can win his division, which the only team I really think he's got to beat out is Buffalo. Sorry, New England. Sorry, Jet fans. But if the Dolphins win the AFC East, they're probably going to be one of the best teams in the AFC, and if they do that, Tua's going to get a lot of recognition for that. I don't see Tua as being a top 20 quarterback, but sometimes some of these quarterbacks, they need a few extra pieces. Tyreek Hill, I would say, is a piece. He might be even more than that. It could happen. I've seen crazier things in the NFL. If you want to throw down $10 on Tua winning the MVP and it happens, you might get yourself a new boat that you can just, I don't know, go to all the Dolphins games down there in Miami Gardens, right? That's how it works. What up, Jeremiah? Would Deebo be overused at the Ravens? I think he would be fighting for touches with all those weapons. Here's the thing. If you trade for Deebo Samuel, he's your number 1. I get you have Marquise Hollywood Brown. It's great. I get you got Rashad Bateman. It's great. Deebo's the number 1. And he's the number 1 on every single offense, minus Miami, minus the Raiders, minus the Rams, minus the Arizona Cardinals. I think he'd be the number 1 everywhere else. And I don't see those teams making the deal for Deebo because you're not only going to have to give up a lot of draft capital, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. So will he be competing for touches? Kinda. But he's not going to run the football. And he's already said he doesn't want to run the ball. He wants to be used like a receiver because he knows his longevity of his career will be much longer if he just stays as a wide receiver. What up, Corey Brown? Should Atlanta take the best defensive line prospect and draft a wide receiver in day 2? Here's the issue, and not that it's a major issue. when I look at Atlanta, I see their biggest needs as they need a receiver. There's no doubt about it. You need an offensive lineman. You need a quarterback. You need a lot. And when a team needs a lot, I say take the best player available. Just take the best player available. Don't go based on biggest team need, because what can happen is teams end up reaching on a player just because they're like, oh, this is our biggest need. Well, he's like 10 prospects behind our next closest. We'll go ahead and we'll take him. If you're Atlanta, you're arguably the worst team in the National Football League. Sorry, Falcons fans. Go out, get the best player available, somebody who you think can help your football team succeed right away. Let's go to Bradley Chang. Diontae Johnson isn't at workouts. Could he be traded? So this is the prime time of the season, especially with this offseason. Insert player name, not at voluntary workouts. Does he want out? I don't think Diontae Johnson wants out. He's entering his 4th year. He knows where he stands. He's in a contract year. It wouldn't make sense for the Steelers to move on from him anyway, because you got Mitch Trubisky, not great at quarterback. Juju Smith-Schuster left. He's with the Chiefs. You know Deontae's going to be your number one. Chase Claypool, if anything, I think Chase Claypool actually has a higher chance of being traded than Diontae Johnson, because there's been more rumors. There's been more drama around Chase Claypool already throughout his career. So I get it. You guys want people there at voluntary workouts, and I would too, because these players, yes, you don't have to show up, but you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to show up. So I think it would be a good look if they ended up doing it. Bradley Chang, I appreciate your question. I appreciate your comment here on today's show. Now, guys, I know not everyone watching right now is a Raiders fan, but if you want to get even more content from me, Raider Nation, you can go ahead and give me a follow at RaidersReport.locals.com. And I go live once a week over there. I give you guys 2 exclusive videos. We give you extra posts as well. You can decide a lot of the content that I make, and this is for Raider fans. It's for any fan. If you just want to talk football, when I go live, you can ask me any question. So go ahead and join. It's free. RaidersReport.locals.com. Let's go to Daniel Radcliffe. If Kyler Murray said he wanted to be traded, should the Saints try to do it? Yes. The Saints, I get the fact they have Jameis Winston. And Jameis was 5-2 last season for New Orleans. But if you have an opportunity to get a quarterback like Kyler Murray at a young age, they have the money to do it. I don't know how New Orleans did it, but they went from being literally in cap hell, like $76 million underneath. Now they're just out there just blowing $100 bills. Benji's at the strip club with Trace. Like, this team, if you can go out and get Kyler Murray, yes, you have a great defense. You have all the pieces essentially on that defense. The offense is a little bit shaky, but Kyler Murray in that division, you have a chance to win the division. I know Tom Brady's there, but if there's been a team that's given Tom Brady and the Bucs problems over the years, it's been New Orleans. So, sorry, Jameis. I'm going to try to eat some W's with Kyler Murray. So what do you guys think is the best division in the National Football League? And I think a lot of people would have said at the beginning of the season, the NFC West. But I still think the NFC West deserves to be in that discussion. The AFC West absolutely deserves to be in that discussion. And then I'm going to go ahead and say the AFC North. Those are the best divisions in all of football as it stands right now. I think the AFC East is going to be interesting because the Bills are legit. I see the Dolphins being legit. I'm never going to count out Bill Belichick. If the Jets just wouldn't be so bad, that would be a very competitive division. But let me know. All the divisions, let me know which one you guys think is the best division in the National Football League.